Welcome everyone. The call is going to be about trusting in your community as well as we did last month, but I'd like to introduce the call to everyone. Everyone, hello. This is back to you, Chris.
Okay, all right. Oh, somebody's coming in. All right, thank you. Thank you. So yes, last time we spoke about trust, and it was a powerful conversation. Actually, not one of the easiest ones we've had. Actually, it was in some ways quite challenging. And Jerome shared an amazing story actually about having a not easy conversation with a young person in one of the YTB time banks, and how that was a trust building, but a challenging trust building conversation. So what I thought I would do this time to introduce this notion of trust building and listening and responding is actually tie this very much to the different ways in which we can use time banking, because we'll hear more, I hope, from the youth time banks and what you're doing around the world, which is amazing, to use the giving and receiving of time banking to build opportunities for young people very explicitly, and to give young people opportunities to be contributors to their communities. But I want to raise another couple of places in which time banking has been. I've had conversations just recently about time banking that are so different. The context is so different, and yet the basic principles apply. And I thought we could explore this in relation to trust, these different ways of using time banking and how they help to build trust and resilience in community. So yesterday, I was at a 95-year-old's birthday party, and I was sitting next to a good friend who is about to retire. And she said, you know, Chris, I live in a building. I'm single. I live in a building, and there's quite a lot of us single people in that building, and we sort of help each other out. But I'm wondering if we might use time banking in the building so that we can form a network of support, because there's a lot of us kind of aging in this building. But I just don't really sort of get how this works. So I said to her, that'll be wonderful. If you can bring maybe 4 or 5 people, we will start with a conversation. We'll start with just a conversation about what's happening in your building. What are a few people are interconnecting, but there's probably so much more. And how can we have a conversation that expands and expands and changes these few connecting people into lots and lots of interconnections in your building, and then maybe even branch out from there. But know that we're just starting small and with a conversation and listening and sharing, and that's all it's going to be at the very beginning. And she said, great, wonderful. So I'm looking forward to that very, very, very much as a kind of, what can I say, very intimate form of time banking, very close and intimate. And then I actually had a note to myself. Oh, that's right. The other thing that I was working on was Kathy Perlow from, actually not Phoenixville, but from Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, had written a story about how the time bank that she was a coordinator of has evolved since its founding in 2000. So it's now 22 years old. And through that time, it was founded by a hospital to help people when they're discharged from hospital go into the community and get help. And then if they were able to help in turn as other people came out of the community. And she writes about how they struggled at first to make that work. And then they got involved with a health clinic. And then they got involved with this thing called a super utilizer project. And it was all a sort of this back and forth between the community with all of its dynamics and the hospital with its very, very formal dynamics. And then the clinic, and how it kept changing and morphing to sort of fit the different needs. But it was always a kind of big thing, formalized with a paid coordinator. And then we have youth time banks. Youth time banks are specifically dedicated to giving young people the opportunity, as I said, to contribute to their communities and to receive from their communities respect and opportunities and resources that they couldn't otherwise tap into, that are all there, but just haven't been connected. So I found myself thinking about how building trust in each of these different contexts can be quite different. And I thought this would be actually a nice moment to share how, either in your own time banking context or in something that you'd like to achieve in time banking, how the listening and the sharing and the talking and the things that you do are shaped by the context of your time bank and what you're trying to do. So with that, I will open it up. I actually say that before I do, I'll say one more thing. You just saw Steve's face again, because I know that that's another, Michael Greenman is taking time banking to another different level, which is a very global level for climate change. So there we have all these different levels, from a small building to youth time banks around the world, to a hospital and a community clinic, to climate change as a global initiative. So now I'm opening it up. Okay, any thoughts from any of you on any of this?
If I may, I'll
Yes.
talk just very, very briefly. I want to acknowledge some of the people who are joining us here: Jen, Kathy Sipple, Robert Kabaya, Tamani, Faso, Robert Muswigwe. The thing I noticed, there is some cultural aspects. I think they're very subtle, and what I'm saying I need to be careful with. When I communicate with the YTB coordinators in the other parts of the world, we're multiple time zones apart. We never see each other in person. And so the relationship is simultaneously fragile, vulnerable, and yet strong and durable. So this is unusual. This is an unusual experience for me. For example, the people that Kathy Sipple and Jen DeMaio introduced me to are just extraordinarily easy to connect with. I don't really have to cultivate and build anything. We trust each other easily and comfortably and confidently. With Robert Kabaya, we understand each other and can communicate, even if necessarily constructively, critically, with no wasted time. There's no time to waste. And it's highly fluid, highly efficient communication. I love this. I love this. And so I thank all of the people that I feel just so honored to work with through YTB Global, because I think we all understand it collapses like a house of cards if it's not this exquisitely refined, because it would be pointless. No one has time to waste. And so we waste no time. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing that, Jerome. I see Tamami's got a hand up, so I'm going to go to Tamami.
Yeah, hello.
Hello there.
Yes, to me it's good night. It's almost night. Yes, and I'm very happy to join you. This is my first call to join you. But also I'm very happy to see you sit on behind of you. There are a lot of books, so it's very impressive, very attractive. So unfortunately my connection cut off, but so I don't know where you end, but you end, but I will catch you slowly until the end. but in Swahili we say karibu sana, which means you are most welcome.
It's very good to hear your voice, Tumami. Thank you. It's so wonderful to have from across the world. Wow.
Yeah, Tumani is in Simiyu region in Tanzania. We became rapidly acquainted yesterday, and we've already created some designs and logos that he's going to take out in some community project. I mean, I was floored. I'm thinking it's going to be 3 weeks before I'm going to figure this out. And it just, like, it happened. And people were helping me from Massachusetts, from Connecticut, from Pennsylvania. I was just floored. Yeah, and what Tumani, I know that sometimes in East Africa, the audio connections are not great. He was speaking in Swahili a little bit, and some of the youth that we want to share some books on the environment, I don't know if we'll get them in Swahili, but that's what we want. That's one of our projects with Little Free Libraries that we're going to start. Tumani is a teacher of secondary and primary school grades in Tanzania.
Okay, well, thank you for that introduction, Jerome. Would somebody like to follow up on Tumami? Would you like to say more, or are you complete for now?
Yeah, currently I think I will hear from you.
Okay.
But I think the project of Little Library will be very powerful to our community. In most of our school, we don't have libraries. In most school in Tanzania, but also in most of school, we don't have something like this one, computer device or mobile phones. So when we come together with the innovative method or innovative ways to bring books to the kids who have never touched extra books apart from their normal curriculum books, it can be something very good. But also what is very interesting to me, to see the kids are participating themselves in constructing these little libraries. They collect maybe some waste material, but also it's helped them to show their talent, their ability. So it's something which gives us opportunity to show what we have apart from teaching and learning. It's give opportunity to kids to show the gift given by the God or creator of everything. So in this project, I think we'll do many things, but we'll do things which finally will make the world to be safe, and as how we read from our parents. So I can stop there and I will share other things on meetings.
Well, thank you, Tumami. That was really, really great. So you're doing a little library project, which I know is one now, it's become a kind of characteristic of some of the youth time banks.
Yes.
That's excellent. Very, very good. And you know what, one of the founders of the Little Library was actually helped us do in 2007 the Time Bank conference in Madison, Wisconsin. So he's, anyway, that's just a little bit of intersection in the past. So who would like to comment next about your own time bank and what's happening in your time bank, or what, where you see either action or talking and listening in a certain way that builds trust? Okay, Kristen.
So for the last, since May, we've been holding space at a community centre and running different events to see what works and what draws people in as we're starting out from a place after COVID, I guess, in a way. And it's part of an existing community. And I'm not sure, so sharing the idea of time banking is one thing, but just drawing in the different groups that are part of it is another. And I've noticed that people come, the regulars, and just how sweet the connection is that develops. Because I think there's this hope for a better place for the world, in a way, like that's time banking, what that space holds just by offering, let's do this differently. The friendships are really lovely, and I get so many beautiful responses. And we share food every week, which is vegan food. So, you know, everybody will always be able to eat something. I mean, it doesn't mean that meat's not there, but there's always plenty of vegan food. So that's inclusive, and that I think that is also builds trust. When we had a Pride Week or a diversity week, sexual diversity week, we changed the logo so that reflected that really, and all of these things are learnings for how to be inclusive. And when you do miss a trick and don't do it, you own it and you say, oh, I wish we'd done it like that. That would have been probably better. And that builds trust as well. When you say something like you missed a trick and you didn't do it right, that's kind of good as well. And it's slower than I thought to build it, but I also get that people are so busy, and like the people that are so keen. But the trust is, I think people are longing for trust. I think that's really clear to me, that they're wanting that, and there's so much of it that's dropped off, and holding that space as well. Like I'm offering through the Time Bank Nonviolent Communication, which is about acceptance really, and about connection. And I think that also builds trust, that ability to hold space for other views. Because in the Time Bank, there was a lot of different views around the position of vaccinations. Obviously, that was everywhere as well, but So yeah, it's been it's interesting, and I think that longing for trust, and just trust is like it's like a big heavy word, but really there's degrees of trust, which is really important to keep in mind as well. Like you might trust somebody in a community space, you might trust them even to turn up in your home, but you might not trust them with time. They might always be running late, you know. So it's about degrees of trust as well, and to keep it in perspective. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Cher. Kristen, were you the person that you and I had a gathering with a purpose conversation? No. I did have such a conversation with somebody by the name of Kristen from New Zealand quite a while back, but it must have been,
well,
yes.
It might have been me. My memory's not very good. I actually had concussion a while ago.
Oh my goodness.
So and that was it was probably about 2 years ago.
I can't, it may have been, honestly, because COVID distorts the sense of time. It was a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nifty.
I do remember things, but it's just sometimes my memory's not that great anyway.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to have a conversation about purpose.
I would too. So you can email and we can have that conversation. and I love the sharing that goes on in these conversations too. What you just shared was so beautiful. And I just noticed that we have Marufa, you're from Hawaii. So I didn't notice before that you're from all the way over there. How many hours behind us are you from the east?
Currently, I'm in Hawaii, but I'm born and raised in Bangladesh.
Oh.
But I lived in Hawaii almost like 10 years, more than that. Right now, 10:26 a.m.
It's 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So are you in a time bank? Are you connected, or are you just joining a time bank right now?
Yes. I was connected maybe a few months ago, and now I have this amazing project I'm doing here in one of the Hawaiian island. I got this project through Time Bank, just to be honest. So it's talking with astronauts
Oh,
So we are setting up like a ground station in the school, and then we will talk with astronauts when they fly by our sky. So in the sky, there's a lot of spacecrafts and a lot of satellites, but one of them has people in it, and the name is International Space Station. So ISS in abbreviation. So this is my update about Time Bank, and thank you for all the inspiration. But my question is how to monetize my project, because I need to earn, I mean, my time is not free. I mean, they say time is money, and money is a kind of like database. So we have to be careful where we put our money because it comes back to us. But I'm giving my time, but I need to learn, hopefully from this meeting, or I just need to learn how to get money from my time. I don't know, is the Time Bank?
So is it Marura or a
Marufa?
Marufa.
Yes.
That is an incredibly important, challenging, deep, difficult conversation. And I'm just, for right now, I'm going to just put it on the table in what we call the parking lot, because it is amazing. And if you would like to contact us afterwards, if we don't get to it more in this call, let's have a conversation about that. But it's a powerful, powerful, powerful question. So Krista will take, or Pam will get your email address. And I'm going to go over now.
Also, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Also, we are looking for members, because recently I become CEO. So I realized we have a lot of things to do. So we are looking for teachers or coordinators, and we have several projects. If anyone is interested to participate in astronaut training program or other science projects in Hawaii or Mount Everest, just let me know.
Oh my good Lord.
Thank you.
Well, to the youth time banking people, hey, does that kind of put up your list? I'm going to go now to either Robert or Kathy. Let's go to Robert first and then to Kathy. Is that okay? Okay, great. Robert.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and thank you, everyone. It's my first meeting here. I thank Jerome, who actually introduced me to time banking concept and then youth time banking. This idea, when he introduced to me, then I picked because my interventions mostly is to reach out to the rural communities where most of the services are actually missing. And we have a number of young people there who actually are not connected to the world, and they are missing out on every single opportunity, which is actually happening everywhere in the world. So when they introduced me to this concept, then I had to roll it out to the youth in schools, young people in schools. And then I had to actually educate them about this concept, that look here, when you do something, activity, yeah, think of like serving a community. And when you do something for serving a community, then actually you are saving your time credit. And then we can use those credits maybe to request for what you are missing in your school, with scholastic material, a book, a pen. Those are some of the materials most of the rural community children are missing right here, because you have to provide scholastic material to children. They are not free. If it doesn't have, then it means that it's going to miss school. So I had to integrate this concept into the activities which are supposed to be done at school. Like most of the schools, they have what they call school masters. What is the use of a schoolmaster is to monitor, to supervise students, what they are doing at school. For example, cleaning, working in the garden, doing sort of things, collecting firewood. But at the end of the day, these are not recognized. They are not awarded anything. So when we started this concept, like, oh, you go fetch water, go clean the compound, clean somewhere in the community, help someone in the community who needs something, and you have the ability to do it with your power, please do it. So at this moment, like the schools where we operate, we are more than 200 children in this program here. And the testimonies we get from the head of schools, they say, we see no use of schoolmasters anymore because they don't have anything to supervise. These children, they supervise themselves. Somebody comes out of school, runs, fetch water. He has not to be supervised. There's no time to waste. Free time means for activity. Right now, we have a project we are doing. This is to do with we call them ISSB blocks. These are interconnected, these soil stabilized blocks. This is a school which actually lost classrooms due to storm. And then we looked at interventions, how we can help this school with the involvement of the children, the community, something like that. So what the Youth Time Banking provided is the machine which makes these interlocking blocks. And then we had to train some youth in the community to be again trainers of the children. And right now, they are making bricks for constructing classrooms themselves. They dig the soil, they mix it, put in the machine, make bricks. Right now, we have 2,500 blocks just made in 2 weeks. We are looking at making 20,000 bricks. And then we have the classrooms constructed by themselves with just a little help with maybe cement, something like that. Then if you talk of something like, garden, the food they need, because schools, at times they have no means to provide meals. So again, they go work in the garden, produce the food which are supposed to be eaten at the school. And they do it willingly. They are not forced. They are not supervised. So this is the beauty of this kind of project. It can actually develop a community because I see real potential. If you, like Jerome has shown some of these links here, you can watch some of these videos. You see the energy of the children. And this energy is actually activated by just awarding these kids, talking about what they are doing, because it used not to be. They used to work, but they are not recognized. Their efforts are not recognized. But right now, they are recognized, and you see that everything is done in time. If it's talking of fetching water for meals, it is done. Cleaning the school is done. Community road, like slashing the community road, is done. Yeah. So this kind of intervention, actually, we are looking at how we can incorporate in each and every development strategies, especially for the rural communities. Yeah. So I thank everyone who actually came up with this idea. This idea can develop communities. This idea can bring opportunities to children, especially in rural communities here. My colleague has been talking about, you find a child has never touched a computer, has no opportunity. But through this program, we have another project we are running. This is the letter writing, where these rural children, they can again write letters to friends, maybe in the US, school to school children exchanging letters. So this one way of connecting them, one way of awarding them. Yeah, so thank you so much. And we see a very big potential for this concept, the time banking. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Robert. That was very inspiring to hear what those children, young children are doing. That's remarkable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. And Krista, you get me that recording, Sister Krista. That
Okay,
was beautiful.
We're going over to Kathy. You're up, Kathy.
Thank you. I'll try to be quick and then I can just put some links in chat to give you more info. But I'm just so excited to have Jerome and Jin on this call. I met both of them toward the beginning of this year, and I'm trying to do what they're doing, you know, in Uganda and all over the world here in Indiana. But meanwhile, I'm just happy to watch their progress and kind of catch up on their coattails. But I would say for anybody who doesn't know what Jin's organization does with Green Team Academy, they have this 90-day International Climate Action Challenge. And I have found it a really great way to re-engage the people here in my local time bank. We've been floundering a little bit due to, you know, since COVID. But I took a position, this kind of addresses the question about how do we get paid. I haven't had that much success asking somebody to pay me to be a time bank coordinator, but I took a job that seemed impossible, which was like fix the climate. And I told my boss that with the stipend I was paid, there was like just no way to do this on a part-time basis. But I told him that time banking would be my secret, but not so secret. I was trying to make it like not secret at all, way that I thought I could accomplish this. So I think just areas where, you know, there are externalities like in the environment, there is not enough money out there to be paid to people to get the work done, to get all the carbon out of the air and to like regenerate. But if it's called something else, or you have a common goal, I think like that's a really great way, especially to engage youth. And I just want to again say how thankful I am to Jerome for trusting me that yes, youth really do care about environment, and he has dug into that, you know, wholeheartedly. Really appreciate it. One specific thing that we're doing this year to kick off as part of Jin's 90-day climate challenge is we are seeking certification or designation through the National Wildlife Federation. That's a US-based organization. I got my yard certified to say that, hey, you know, my yard looks this way because it supports wildlife. There's, you know, water and habitat and this and that. But I found out you can certify a whole community. And tomorrow I actually have a meeting with a representative in Washington, DC about certifying our whole region. So it'll be like a 3 to 5 county region. And my plan is to write a collective impact grant. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, I'll drop some links in chat. I'm not saying it has to be for this specific project, but you know, showing how the time bank or some other nonprofit that you're affiliated with could be the what they call backbone organization to hold a complex project together. And time banking is one part of getting that done. I think this could be a way that we could, you know, unleash some money and show how it's tied to getting things done. I love one of Jerome's saying is no data without stories, no stories without data. I've been a little light on the data, but I think this project is really helping me to lean into that. And just today, we got headlines in our local paper about the greenhouse gas inventory that our region did last year. And so it's coming. The data is coming, the strategy is coming, the framework is coming. But I think getting youth involved, using Jin's window of opportunity, you know, as a place where you can come together and network with people all over the country. And then the last thing I'm going to throw in there is sociocracy. For the last 2.5 years, I've been studying sociocracy, and that's like a method of decentralized decision-making. Coming out of the gate, I just thought, oh, I can do a regional time bank, no problem, you know, in that 3 to 5 county area. Quickly got out of my depth, you know, pretty fast. But now I do see a way that I could go back and map those, that what was becoming kind of an unwieldy time bank into intersecting rings, and having this National Wildlife Federation certification be something that we can be working toward together. And so part of the things that could be done by time banking is collecting milkweed seeds or other native plant seeds, because the monarch butterflies are endangered, and then there's a local middle school that I've involved, and they're going to hopefully help us do some seed cleaning and packaging and even marketing, with their little designs and things like this. And then we'll have other master gardeners that I'm engaging to help us grow the plants, and a local conservation nonprofit that has, a whole volunteer core that is now interested in becoming part of the time bank. So just having this framework and a common aim has really been invigorating to be continued. I hope to have a big success story that I can tie a bow on and, give it to you. But it would be great to just see, other people join me in this. And if it's a template that works, let's do it all over the place. It's so much easier to just grab a template and fill in. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for giving me the voice. Chuck.
Wow. Well, thank you. I love that notion of a template. A long time ago, around 2000, there was a big and actually very intense and sometimes not very friendly debate about whether time banking was a kind of tool that you could use in many different ways, or whether it should be like a franchise and should be like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. It's the same in every place. And it ended up being, it's a tool and it's used in different ways. But actually what you're just pointing to, Kathy, is it's a blend. If we have these different templates, we can use it in many different ways, and the template gives you a sort of shortcut to what you want to do. So having different templates for different things is a really, really great idea. And the YTB is a template, and it sounds like you and Jen together are making another template, which is great, that other people can be shared with other people. Love that idea. I'm going to Louise, and then maybe Jen, you'd like to just sort of respond to some of what Kathy has said. So let's go to Louise.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that in Boston, we've done a lot with the youth. It brings it up. Like, I kind of got started from meeting somebody at the bus stop all the time. She invited me to join a non-racist group. And from there, everything went on. We had South Boston Against Drugs. We chaperoned student dances. The kids did campaigns against tobacco, alcohol, drugs, and we worked with Boston Against Drugs, and we worked with the police, and that got started a lot. And so I know we had the Young at Arts too that painted the murals in the city with the South Boston Arts Association. The Health Center had the youth ambassadors, did Annie Litter and all that. And it wasn't, I don't think we thought about rewards, but sometimes when kids do good, that they leads to jobs, or it's like, we didn't think so much getting paid. It's like, I had a volunteer said, we got some free courses, and we said we didn't get paid, but we learned a lot. We got an education. And also in Roxbury group was when they tore down for public transportation, we found out when they tore down an old elevated train station, elevated train tracks and put it underground away from a minority neighborhood. And they said to give something equal or better, they did, but we talked to other people, and some young middle school kids complained about idling gas buses, diesel buses. So they helped lead a campaign against it, wearing masks and everything. It took about 8 years, but we did get the clean buses.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then we got community gardening for the kids too, with ACE. Our kids are also working on climate change too. And I mean,
it's Louise, where are you located?
In Boston, Mass. I did a lot of stuff in South Boston and Boston.
Wow, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to hear that. So I'm so glad you came on the call to share that with us. So I hope you'll keep joining us, and we can learn more of what you're doing. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Are you finished, or have you got more you'd like to share?
I'm finished.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Jin and then to you, Tamani. So Jin.
Hey, yeah, thank you all. This is fantastic. And Kathy's been such an incredible connection in the youth time banking. I run Green Team Academy, and we have this International Climate Action Challenge where we walk teams through a course that helps them launch projects, environmental projects in their areas. And it's funny that she mentioned the template, because I almost messaged Jerome today to ask about creating something, because if we could kind of merge this structure of launching projects with the time banking structure that he has, we could really like make these sprout all over. Because one of the main things that I've noticed with the teams that are coming on, a lot of them are lacking direction. So giving some sort of structure like that would really help. And a lot of them are looking to empower youth in their community. So it'd be such a beautiful mashup to do. But even on top of that, so Green Team Academy, I've been pretty much volunteering my time for almost a year to Green Team Academy. And time banking has been for a couple of years now. It's kind of been something that I'm extremely, I love the concept of shifting focus from money to time, because it's more valuable. I'd rather spend focused time than money, or money than time, if that makes sense. But when I'm thinking about like how much work and what I'm putting into the organization without getting like any monetary return, it's kind of a little bit disheartening. And then at the same time, it's just like, wait, but I'm putting this in, and in return, I'm getting so many different expertise from people that I would never be able to get. So I don't currently have like Green Team Academy set up as a time banking structure, but I would absolutely, I think that would be such an incredible thing to integrate. And I heard a couple of people here from Pennsylvania that I would love to connect with, because I also have another idea that goes further into time banking and how to like document different. So come January, I think I might start traveling around to do like work stays and document in eco villages being developed. And it's kind of like you get room and board, you get like yoga classes, hikes, like tours, all of that good stuff, just for donating $25 a week. And if that's something that I could like showcase, document, and travel around and set up time banking structures in all of these different places, like this is a concept that I want to take over the world without a doubt. So yeah, sorry, that was kind of like a little bit squirrely all over the place, but big dreams. And I'm really stoked that Kathy and Jerome and Robert Tamani and all of the others who are coming together to like bring this time banking structure there to their area. I'm just so thankful that there are such like-minded people trying to push forward with this. So thank you all. This is incredible.
Wow. Well, thank you, Jen. Before we go to Tamani, I'd just like to say, make an observation, which is when I first joined Edgar in 1999, and time banking had been going a while already, but I know that we tended to think of it as like this sort of little bubble of its own space. And more and more and more as the years have gone by, it's more like, no, it's this bridge. It's different kinds of bridging between different kinds of spaces. And to think of it being a structure that allows those bridges to take place. And one of the bridges is between the mainstream economy and this core economy of relationships and family and neighborhood and community. And now this notion of projects and templates being the bridges, using the notion of time banking and the core economy as shaping what those bridges look like. I think we're really collectively onto something very, very, very exciting here. And it's wonderful to hear everyone talking about this and to see what you're doing. It's, wow, look at this creativity. It's so amazing. So I'm going to turn to Tamani right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I would like to go back to Kathy. I don't know whether I'm correct, Kathy CP. What is very interesting, I think all of us, if we involve kids or youths in what we are doing, And many people think these kids have nothing to do. They are just waiting to be given information. Many people don't listen them, but they have a lot of information. They have a lot of knowledge. I do remember one day I have been invited to talk on how parents or how people can talk with the kids towards a climate. And among of my guests or among of my people I met there was 2 kids and many parents. One kid asked me, why are we few and they want to talk about us? So from there, I discover these kids have something. So if we need our activities or our program to be successful, let's give them a room to say what they think and what they can solve a problem. We adult people, we believe we can solve a problem for our kids or for our youths, rather than giving them opportunity to share, but also to show their ability to solve the problem. They have ability. So Katie, thank you very much for that. And I heard you talk about something, wild animals, something like that. So is something I meet when I celebrate World Chimpanzee Day in Tanzania. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tamami. And actually, I was looking at Louisa when you were talking, because that was what Louise was sharing, is how much the young people have been leaders in the things that you have been accomplishing there, Louise. And that's the same message of let's look to see what our youth can do and not assume that they cannot do the things we need. And I'm seeing Krista's hand up. So I'm over to you, Krista.
Well, I just wanted to share that Joe had his hand up.
Oh, did
I
I?
wanted to share something.
Sorry, I missed that. I did miss it. Where he's who's got?
You're on mute, Joe.
Okay.
Oh, Joe, I don't see your hand up. That's so strange. Thank you.
No, I didn't. I put it in chat because when I look at all these names and I came on late and I don't know. I thought this was relative to Indianapolis, but I'm thinking this is worldwide, and I just am curious who else is in my area of central Indiana. So Kathy responded to me, but I don't know if any of the other ones are.
I don't know either. Is anybody from Indiana or thereabouts? Hey, Joe, it looks like you are Indiana. You are Mr. Indiana today.
Well, I could, if you want, I'll share that my idea about time banking and tiny houses.
Okay.
I have a 2-acre property on the east side of Indianapolis in an area that's predominantly maybe 50% Black, 30% Hispanic, and 20% either white or Asian. And I always have these big ideas, and then I don't know if I can ever get enough people to actually follow through on them. But my idea was that if young people wanted to build tiny houses and learn the skills of building a house while they're in high school, a tiny house is like a mini construction project. And I wanted their time on these houses to be banked so that by the end of their high school career, they would have enough time banked that they could, draw on other people to create their own tiny house. And then as they go off to their first job or college or something, find a place where they can position their own tiny house. And then they don't have a rent or mortgage. And that's just a huge leap forward in their own progress to independence. So then I wanted to integrate that with churches or not-for-profits who would help sponsor individuals during this process, whereby, you know, let's say you need $5,000 to $8,000 worth of materials to build a tiny house, and that would go to this certain individual. That would become their tiny house. But then within a time banking model, they owe 1 year of service back to that community or that not-for-profit. So they're living in their tiny house. They're paying back the money that's been invested in their tiny house by this church or this not-for-profit. And then at the end of the year, it's theirs. But they've also then learned the resources of time banking and the model that's created in their life.
Wow, that is a really, really, really beautiful template. We'll use the word template again.
Yeah.
And the question is how to get a group of people and the resources and the things together that will make that template for real. And it sounds like you've connected to Kathy, is that correct? Or you've just learned about Kathy, or have you had any conversations?
Well, she said we're friends on Facebook, and yes, honestly, I've kind of given up on time banking for the last couple years, but she's right. I think we've had contacts over the years, but now I think it's with the diminishing of COVID, we can maybe pursue this. I've also had people come and stay at my farm from all over the world through WWOOFing, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, and through this other working project that there's another name for just people who want to travel and work, and you house and feed them, and then they give you half their time.
Right. So what we're exploring, as it turns out, in this call, and I think it's coming to an end, actually, it's been so rich, so fascinating, is the way in which time banking can just be this vehicle for moving resources, skills, and knowledge from one domain to another. And it's a very creative kind of act, a very creative way of thinking of, let's put our heads together to see how we can use this vehicle for the movement of resources and capacities and skills, and trust is a very, very, very important part that actually I think does emerge. I'm thinking of Kristen at the very beginning when she was talking about how these small groups are getting together, but knowing they're exchanging time and they're not actually valuing some people hugely and some people just minimally, but valuing everybody the same, just naturally builds that trust. And so, Joe, thank you so much for sharing that thinking. And what we need as a movement is to be hearing these ideas and tapping into the resources that we can, and keep saying, look, maybe those resources could go to help Joe. Maybe there are people in this group, or some people in this group connect to people who can say, Joe, we can help you make that happen. It's a beautiful, beautiful idea. And if it could be made to make happen, wow, such an extraordinary thing. So I think we're at the end of our time. And I just want to say, wow, I just feel, I don't know how many times I've had goosebumps on my arm today, because it's been such a beautiful conversation and so full of creativity and thoughtfulness. And I love the way of this connecting with young people and bringing the young people into the time banking world like this to help them grow into the world in beautiful ways that build on their strengths. So a huge, huge thank you to everybody for being here. And we'll be having another conversation a month from now. But in the meantime, let's try and endeavor to follow up as much as we can on all of this sharing that we've had today. So I'm going to switch over now to Krista, and Krista, you can take it away, as they say.
Well, thank you for everybody joining the call. Our next call will be November 20th, and we'll see you then. Pam will be the one to post this on our YouTube channel, so be in the lookout for that. Thanks for everybody for joining the call.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.